Hello, guys. Like I always say, except I'm going to say a little bit different. Back from the longer past that I've expected, or something like that, and into the present. Been away. Had some life stuff going around, and more about life, more about other stuff before just going into YouTube. And I've been playing games, just playing games, playing recent games like Tokyo Mirage Sessions and some people are gonna just call me out on this. Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I never got to play it fully, so and I enjoy it so far. I enjoy playing it so far, even though there are some annoying things about it. I think it's probably the Call of Duty game I enjoyed the most. So I mean, I only played like Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops on the Wii. So anyways, moving on. So this is basically the E3 2016 review, and maybe sort of a coincidence. I'm making a video about this 1 month after E3, but whatever. So it's a pretty long list, which is why I'm gonna, check. I'm gonna do it in order. So, you know, um, EA's E3. I mean, EA didn't have an E3, but they did have EA Play that was during the E3 week. So technically speaking, I'm gonna count them also, and their presence. It wasn't good. Their conference wasn't good. A lot of sports, a lot of whatever. You barely saw Battle. I don't think there was any Battlefield one gameplay. I think it was just a trailer, and it was a pretty boring E3. Yeah, not much Mass Effect footage. And yeah, I didn't think it was that good. And I mean, like maybe like DLC or something they probably did, but I don't think they did much really. I'm checking it again right now and seeing if EA did much. So I'm gonna kind of be quiet right now. And now, actually looking back at the conference, just a lot of talking and whatnot. Not really much gameplay. So I mean, maybe gameplay of sports, but that's about it. So I think they're in last place for right now, as I'm reviewing them. So up next, is Bethesda. Um, and of course, I'm doing this in order of days, if you know what I mean, or out or showtime. So Bethesda was okay. I think they did better than I expected. Like I thought they weren't going to do much. Um, they got me more interested in Doom, right? That's one positive part with free to play and more DLC for Fallout and Doom. That was about it. Just they just showed CGI trailer for Prey 2. They just announced it. There was maybe one other game that I was also probably interested in. It was probably Quake. Yeah, Quake. Quake Champions. They didn't really show much. They said they're going to show more footage at QuakeCon. Don't know when that is. Uh, and then they showed Dishonored 2 gameplay, and so they did better than I expected, right? But I'm still gonna say their conference wasn't all that great. So get out of EA, moving in to I think Microsoft is next. Microsoft, it's an interesting story. Uh, I'm getting an interruption at a time like this, so um, yeah, I'm gonna be back, and I will be checking on pretty much I think the highlights of Microsoft's conference. So yeah. Actually, changed my mind. I think I'm gonna just look at all the highlights. Based on what I've seen, okay, the Ultimate with the actual 1S and whatnot, show more gameplay footage of Gears of War 4. Okay, that's good for those who are interested. Unfortunately, I'm not interested, and and I'm also not interested in getting their console either. So, I mean, I think I already have a good enough reason. It's the fact that uh the fact that not only is their console kind of overpriced for me, and there's another reason why it is to me, but most of their features are locked down in paywall, and that's just like what the heck. So if they're gonna do it like that, I'm like thinking, what? It's kind of like a brick console, kind of like a GameCube to me, except maybe it has more gigabytes for games to hold, but it's not going to have that many to it's not going to have enough to hold the games that I kind of want to put in, I think. So really, yeah. But anyways, moving on. This Gears of War interesting, not really to me, but they did show gameplay footage, so I will just say that. It's kind of how okay, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of So it's kind of interesting how like Microsoft Conference really was. It was going good at first, right? No complaints so far. Then they started showing more multiplats, like Final Fantasy 15, and it's funny because Phil said, "Oh, I'm not a fan of third-party deals and whatnot," and I'm like thinking, "You're making a third-party deal, aren't you? You're making a third-party deal, and you're spending more money, more of your money that you're already limited on because Nadella is not exactly supporting your you're still on Nadella's watch anyways, so you shouldn't really be spending that much money on that. On a game that's not going to sell well on your console, or it's not going to make people buy your console. So, and you're not really going to get profit from that game anyways. So, what's the point of you doing that? So, there's that. And they showed more multiplats also. It doesn't end. Oh, Battlefield 1, replay footage, EA Access, which I'm like thinking, okay, that kind of got annoying. So they didn't stop showing multiplats. They showed Minecraft, which I was it looked interesting, but then again, I'm like thinking, wait, they showed Minecraft how many times? Maybe this is the second time. I don't know. Maybe just the second time, and it's just my imagination that this is the third time. And I'm meeting a pair. What else? So for like the exclusives, they showed Killer Instinct DLC, which is like okay, not bad, definitely not the best kind of whatever whatnot. They show Forza Horizon 3 gameplay. Okay, good. You kind of got me interested with the game, even though I'm probably not going to get it for the Xbox One because it's also on PC. So, which I think my PC or this computer that I'm using can handle. I think. If not, that's not enough reason to get me one. And plus, I think there's enough racing games on either the PS4 or multiplat. That's probably gonna, it's gonna be like that's probably gonna be like for Forza Horizon 3, maybe. There might be. If not, it's not really enough reason, and it's okay for me if I just miss out on that game. So, um, they show Recore gameplay just now, and the reason why I say that is because that game's releasing in September 13. I think they showed gameplay literally almost, if not around 3 months before the game's launch, which goes to show you this game might not be that long. And it may not be a AAA game either, and it may not be a big game either. And from looking at the gameplay, it looks like it's very much a simple game. Like, to me, it looks like a simple game. Like you shoot down enemies, use the blue power or something. You know, like Devil May Cry from what I've heard. Use the blue power to shoot down blue enemies, and yeah, whatever. And there's some interesting elements, but it's like I don't know. It kind of looks basic to me. Like it looks very basic. Like you're doing some I think platforming sections right there, and yeah, and it's on PC too. So I think my PC can probably handle it. I think yeah. And they showed more multiplats. They showed probably about like 3. I think the Division didn't do much. I think so. They showed more Division, which once again multiplats. So I don't get why they showed that. And plus, Ubisoft has their own conference. So what's the point? And then they kind of started at least getting a little bit better with the with what's in store for Xbox Live, right? Which is okay, not bad. Then they show more Minecraft, which is like, okay, a little bit better, but I'm not going to give them an extra point. I'm not going to give them that big of a point. Controller, customization, okay, not bad, but you're not gonna help make that up. Another like showing of Hand of Fate, or not Hand of Fate. What am I looking at? The card game that was in a Bethesda's conference. once again, I think it was that. I think they had an important third party deal with that. So then you usually show the indies, which, they have to, show indie support and whatnot. And then I think they showed trying to check. And there were a couple of indie games I was interested in, like the one that kind of had a Brave New World kind of like world. You take a pill and your reality changes. Yeah, Gwent. That was a card game. Once again, dropped it down. It was kind of decent, sort of, at least decent. I mean, it kind of wasn't that good. I mean, it'll kind of be nicer to say it was decent. And then you show Tekken, and it's like, oh, I think it's still now decent. I mean, I can't. Well, the Xbox Live features and the Xbox Live features that can hold it up. I think that was about it. That was the only thing that was holding it up, kind of, at least as of this moment. So the conference was kind of going into downhill, like 5 out of 10, at least for me. And then he showed Dead Rising 4. I can't say that because that's a third party game, technically speaking. Like it said, coming to Xbox One and Windows 10. So technically speaking, once again, Phil Spencer paid Capcom for that time exclusive deal. Like, like what the heck? That guy, man. And now I think, yeah, like whoever said he was like a pretty honest guy. Think about that for a minute. So still going on a downhill. And they showed Scalebound, which okay, good gameplay, but also not really that good because it was kind of closed off. Like I could probably tell. I don't know if Hideki Kamiya was like that, but he was kind of just not happy. You could say just just like hey whatnot, and and I see this. I'm like thinking, is he disappointed with him, like with Microsoft not letting him show much of the gameplay for this game, like the open world aspect of this game and all that kind of stuff, and just show him just a boss fight, which once again, the footage looked cool. I'm interested in the game. I'm hooked in the game, even though that's not enough reason again, because it's also going to Windows 10. So, and I think my PC can handle it. But yeah, and now I think the conference at least was decent, right? It was decent, and I think it was decent. They showed more CFD's gameplay, which okay, to be completely honest, I'm not that interested with the game because it just kind of looks basic for me. Pirate game. Oh, you drink mug, okay. You do ship battles, okay. I know there's more to it. Like you're shooting cannons, you're steering. You're not steering the wheel, but you know what I mean. Like you're doing like different functions for a pirate ship, but at the same time, it's just not that inspiring. I mean, I think I've seen a game like I think there's only been one game so far, which is Assassin's Creed 4, that's kind of done that. Maybe not exactly, but I think you know what I mean. So I'm kind of just thinking, okay, so I'm gonna still give them fat because at least they're showing more of their first party and whatnot. And I keep saying whatnot, but they keep showing that, and it's like, okay, it's decent. They announced State of Decay 2. Okay, decent. They showed some gameplay, but they didn't really say much about the game. I don't think they ever said much about the game, like after the press conference. So it was just another CG. Well, I don't know if it's CG, but just another kind of normal kind of trailer, and yeah, that's just about it. They show Halo Wars 2, which is like, okay, that's all they needed. That's like pretty much just show more of your exclusives, and they kind of did, but I don't know. Their conference was still kind of decent because they just didn't do enough. Like Halo Wars 2, that's not a big game, so I'll still give them a point, but it's like now your conference is just decent. And as it were, I think the conference just went downhill, a lot downhill, And this is when they announced the Project Scorpio, a 4K device, supposed to be the ultimate gaming machine, 6 teraflops and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like thinking, this is unbelievable. Like, this Project Scorpio, the specs of this thing, like, it's unbelievable. And I doubt it's going to be cheap or at a reasonable price because, like it or not, I think it's going to be a really high price. And I doubt anyone's going to buy this console, because has the Xbox One really, sold that well, at that high price? No. And where's the games? See, I don't know what to say. Well, they said the Project Scorpio is gonna like pretty much have the same library as Xbox One's library. So, okay, but still, you're asking people to buy this console at such a high price. Like buy this console, but like let them believe. Like let them have faith in you guys, Microsoft, delivering this, whatever. And you've already told enough lies. You told about the cloud, that's gone. Didn't see Crackdown 3, that's gone. And DirectX 12, well, I don't know about DirectX 12 actually. So, but then, but you did a lie about the cloud though. So you're thinking, yeah. So it's just like now the conference is, I think, pretty bad. I think overall because of that Project Scorpio, it's pretty bad. Like the Xbox One S didn't do enough at the end, I think. So yeah, I think it was a pretty bad conference. I think it was a pretty bad conference overall. Like I think it was pretty bad. Like I'll give it like a 4 out of 10 because it's like, oh my goodness. So like I was like commenting to a gamer at large or like a gamers at large reaction to this conference, and I was like saying, okay, it was pretty decent like overall. But now but well, I'll say first, a gamer at large is a gamer at large comment. Okay, I kind of worded it weirdly. Gamers at large member, commenting saying, yeah, it was pretty decent until the Project Scorpio, and now I'm sharing that same like thought. Like it was decent until they just announced it, and it's like, this conference wasn't that good, and so E3 now is just looking. I mean, it's meh. Like I don't know. Like I don't think it's worth like our time to just watch this. They will just get the news, after the conference is over or whatnot, or after the presence is over. I mean, showing gameplay, showing more gameplay of each game. And Microsoft, I don't think they did enough to show more gameplay or additional new. I don't remember them doing additional new gameplay like for all the games aside from Recore and Dead Rising 4. I mean, that's a third party, so that doesn't count. So that's about it. So there's, like it or not, I think theirs overall is under Bethesda. Like it may seem like their conference was better than Bethesda. Like you can kind of see that with like if without that Project Scorpio announcement, I think theirs would have been above Bethesda. But because of that, I think overall, like and overall their presence didn't help that much either. So after the conference, so that's it. Like like it or not, they're in the bottom. Like they're in the bottom. In terms of ranking of their presence at E3, um, or elsewhere, like near E3. I think EA was the only one. So okay, that's it. Moving on to Sony or Ubisoft. Actually, Ubisoft, I think, was solid conference. They showed gameplay footage of Ghostland Wildlands. Kind of interesting in that game. They showed gameplay of some interesting games. Eagle game, kind of interested in that one. They showed gameplay of Watch Dogs 2. Okay, whatever. Um, pretty interesting game, though I shouldn't really, expect the game to really be that good because, it could just have repetitive missions. and that could turn me off because I kind of don't like doing missions that are pretty much about the same, almost exactly the same. That kind of doesn't make me want to play the game. Kind of like want to have some variety. What else? I think that was oh yeah, that intro was like it was hilarious to me because I was like thinking, how are the other YouTubers going to react to this? Like I know some YouTubers like Bear Hugger 29 or so they're going to react to it like, what the heck is this garbage? Like what the heck is this garbage? What the heck is this trash? Like, like it was funny. And I still laugh at that. So yeah. And yeah, I mean, I could say something about them announcing that Just Dance, the next Just Dance is coming to NX, but then I'm like, whatever. I mean, we don't know what the heck NX is, so I think Kimishima confirmed it to be a console. I don't know if that's accurate, but I think he stated it. Like, I think I double checked it once, and yeah. So, um, I don't I think that was it for their highlights. I don't know if they did much. To be honest, like they showed that ski game. Okay, that was kind of interesting, and the fact that it was open world was also kind of interesting too. Caught kind of my interest. I mean, it was a pretty solid conference. Overall, it was a pretty solid conference. I mean, I don't think they did. I don't know if they showed more gameplay afterwards. Oh yeah, that South Park game looked interesting. Totally looked interesting. So For Honor looked kind of interesting to me also. So they showed pretty good games. There were some boring moments too where I'm like thinking, like a lot of talking, a lot of even that Star Trek VR game. I'm like thinking, where which I kind of I'll be honest, when there's boring stuff like that at E3, I just do something else. I just look at something else. Like I just look up another website or another news and whatnot. Like, yeah. And I did that a lot in a lot of conferences. I did that in EDA. I did that in Bethesda. I did that in Microsoft even. And I did it now with Ubisoft. So that's pretty sad. Uh, when I was watching all of them live, of course. And I'm still eating pears, so yeah. And I think that was about it. I mean, he might as well see you trailer for that, but that was probably like For Honor, but whatever. I mean, some games just looked interesting, like just some games looked interesting. It was, an okay conference, or it was a decent or solid conference. I mean, I keep on saying both slightly different terms. I probably get about like a 7 out of 10 or something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And that was about it. Up next is Sony's. And I was kind of getting a little bit nervous about Sony's conference. I will not lie. Oh wait, actually, before I move on to Sony, totally. Ubisoft's conference, I think, is I think you could tell how I'm gonna like rank this. Ubisoft is ahead of the previous conferences that have done. So that have reviewed. I mean, so yeah. And now moving on to Sony's. I was kind of getting nervous because ever since that Project Scorpio announcement, I thought Sony was going to do the same thing where it's like, oh yeah, you know what, we're going to do the PS4 Neo kind of thing, or just show the high end PS4, and it's like, oh no, please don't, please don't, please don't, and please also don't show more features because we don't need all those, please. And I'm glad they literally showed kind of the opposite if you think about it. They opened up with an orchestra teasing Gears of War. I think that's a good way of teasing, right? A game, God of War, and that game kind of looked interesting. I don't know. They got to show more gameplay of that, but yeah, show gameplay. Okay, not bad, Sony. Then it kept their momentum going. They didn't talk. In fact, I think I remember they did not talk much in this conference. So then they showed Horizon Zero Dawn gameplay. Looked interesting, different enemy variety, and you get and it's finally nice to see just the menu, when pausing and um just yeah, and the different things you do, like running on a robotic, I don't know, um just you get what I mean. And so that was that. Um and that was that. Uh and what did he show? Because I'm trying not to forget. Okay, Sean Layden did talk a little bit after that God of War gameplay, but they showed Days Gone. Cinematic trailer. Well, not really. Well, you could say cinematic, just in-game footage. And okay, that game. Okay, you got to show more because I think there's already been like a couple post-apocalyptic games like recently. So they got to do something different. And thankfully, they show later good gameplay footage of Days Gone, and I think you can tell this is an open world game, and there might be more variety. And I heard that this is still early in development, so you know. But I don't know when I don't even know when all the first party Sony games are coming out, because from what I've heard, I thought they were all canceled because they were all supporting VR, but I guess not. But it all depends now on how or on when these games come out. I hope these games come out at the right time. I mean, like in 2017 or 2018. I hope, because I wouldn't really like it if these games don't come out at all. Because I heard that each Sony first party team, I think aside from Naughty Dog, has about like 3, 5 people, something like that, like indie level, and it's like, oh no. So it'd be really a shame if each of these games just don't never came out. Spider-Man, I think can't come out because that's from Inside Games, and Beyond Two Souls, that's from Quantic Dream, which second party developer, I think. Or if you guys prefer, private third party, coming from me. So if I think that's accurate, I mean, I'll check back at it so people don't call me out on being wrong. Yeah, they're a private developer. Okay, yeah, they're a private developer. What else? They showed Last Guardian trailer. More gameplay footage. Interesting. So you're gonna be facing, not battling against enemies, but you will have to kind of not get caught by enemies. So that's interesting. And what else? And that game's coming out pretty soon. Even though I'm not gonna get a PS4 anytime soon, I'm waiting. I'm still gonna wait until there might be a PS4 Slim. They might change their mind. They said they're fine, with the PS4 size, but I say, I'll wait till next year. I'll wait till next year and see if they're going to announce a PS4 Slim. If they're going to announce it, I'm going to get that because I prefer to have smaller consoles like the Wii U or the PS3 Slim, Super Slim that I have. So yeah. They showed oh yeah, speaking of Quantic Dream, they showed what I'm saying. They showed what is it? Detroit become human? No, Detroit. Yeah, Detroit Become Human. I think that's the name. I could be wrong, but I think that's the name. Show more gameplay footage of that. Gameplay, cutscene, you know what I mean. And, and it's interesting, because it's kind of, it's not just this whole like, oh, you just press a button, that's about it. No, I think you are gonna walk around and like you're searching like around this area. Like this game kind of sort of reminds me of Heavy Rain. Not that I played it, but from looking at reviews and gameplay, you know, like in Heavy Rain, you have this robot that's gonna just search around evidence, that will affect the outcome. I think so. I still hope this game is kind of at least open world. because it does seem like it's going to be that way. With Kara, like it does have the potential, like this concept where, let's just say Kara, travels around the world and performs different tasks and whatnot, and just do all that kind of stuff. And it'd be nice if that happens. It really would be a nice change of pace from a lot of shooters and whatnot. So I know a lot of people kind of criticize those type of games. Like I know some guys, but I mean that's my opinion. So that's their opinion. So Sony's conference is really good, and I think their conference was really good. And in fact, I can say that theirs probably was the best for me, surprisingly. So showed, and here's an interesting thing. The third party games that they showed are understandable because they're the ones that I think are part of the deal that Sony made to them. So like Resident Evil. Well, Resident Evil is just more VR, and I think that was exclusive to PSVR, so that's understandable. They might have showed VR gameplay. I'm not sure. They showed a lot of VR, and people were like kind of disappointed with that. But I'm like gonna just say, you know what? That's obviously a positive because PSVR is coming out this year, like pretty soon. Like I've got when, but it's coming out pretty soon, and they're supposed to promote the PSVR, and they're doing a good job with that. So that's the good thing about it. So I'm not gonna like say all those PSVR games until I hear if it's gonna be anything good. They announced the price, I think, at that conference, and then so Final Fantasy 15 was shown at that conference. Why? Because of a PSVR gameplay. Because PSVR is also supported. And it is exclusive. Yeah. So I mean, this show is sort of a trailer of Final Fantasy 15, but it wasn't too much. It didn't take too much space, I don't think. So Call of Duty footage, but that's understandable because once again, Sony and Activision are partnered, so you know what I mean. And it was really interesting gameplay. Like I'm kind of a future fanatic, you could say. Like I'm like very much interested in futuristic counterattack, and I don't know how I'm gonna get this game or play this game because PC support isn't really good for like their Activision's not good with PC support for Call of Duty. So if you know what I mean. I said that right. And they said that oh yeah, Crash Bandicoot, they're gonna remaster or you could say instead remake the Crash Bandicoot trilogy from PS1. Yeah, from PS1 for the PS4. And okay, not a bad announcement. I don't think anybody really wanted to see like some kind of reboot to this because we haven't seen a game like that in a long. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but yeah, people haven't seen a game like that in a long time. So they showed Skylander, footage, but that was because of Crash Bandicoot, and people said, "Oh, but Sony deal and whatnot, Activision deal and whatnot," and it's like, okay, you got a point there, but at the same time, Sony was the first to have Crash Bandicoot, so wouldn't it fit for them to show Crash Bandicoot first on Skylanders? Just saying. That's a point that I think that's a good point to make. I mean, they show more Skylanders gameplay, but it doesn't ruin momentum because you're showing Skylanders. So why not just show more Skylanders? And then they showed Lego Star Wars, which okay, you know what? Third party footage. You might say they paid them, but then again, I looked through. I kind of analyzed why that was there, and and I could say why that's there. When I'm also going to say the next highlight next, which is going to be, I think it's going to be no. Okay, before that next highlight, they showed Hideo Kojima's next game, which I heard some mixed opinions about him. Some people say he's the best. Some of the guys I know, like Mr. Red Fox, say he's not really a good developer. He's only been making like what Metal Gear Solid, and that was about it. So for being the nice person I am, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and just say, okay, give it a shot. See what you're going to do. And his game, I think, is going to be similar to that, similar to Silent Hills. Now, I'm not a fan of it, but I will just say, go ahead and give it a shot, if you can, you know, because that character looks like the character from the Silent Hills that he was going to make until that was canceled. So, and that's gonna be exclusive to PlayStation 4, I think, fully. Like I was like checking on it, like before this announcement, it was a time exclusive, but when it said Sony Interactive Entertainment Presents, I was like thinking, you know what, that deal is gonna be locked down. And I think this is gonna be fully an exclusive to PlayStation 4. I don't think it's gonna go to any other platform. Because I don't know if Sony's gonna I don't think Sony's gonna do that where they're just going to be like, oh, let this game go to a platform. No, that's not going to happen. And they even said, I think Sony of Europe, said to take down that post that this game is a time exclusive and it's going to Microsoft Windows. So really, this game is, I think, exclusive. And they just showed a cinematic trailer, so that's just about it. We don't know much about the game. Might be similar to PT. What I'm saying, Silent Hill. So and I heard that that's how the beginning of Silent Hills was, or that's how the demo of Silent Hills was for the PS4. So, and then they showed the next highlight, which is a new Spider-Man game. Showed some gameplay footage. Looks really interesting, good. Kind of the superhero game I wanted to get out of it. Like you're able to go into places. You're able to go into like a cafe, I think, and they did show some gameplay footage, and it looks really good. Now, is this game going to come out in 2017? Probably not, because the reason why I'm kind of changing my mind right now, all of these games are still in development. Like all of these games that just got announced are in development, according to Sony. They would have said 2017 if they were ready, but technically speaking, they didn't. So it's like maybe these games aren't going to come out in 2017. Maybe. Which I mean, we'll see. Maybe it could be wrong, and they still could be, going in 2017 because, I think because first of all, Quantic Dream has been developing, I think, Detroit Become Human for almost 3 years now. Like they're heading into their third year. We all know it's not coming out this year. We don't know if it's coming out next year. I mean, it probably should, because 4 years of development, that's like that's that's like 5 years of development. That shouldn't really be justified, because it's like because that's like around like roughly like an RPG kind of development, if you get what I mean, like Final Fantasy maybe development, or you get what I mean. You guys get what I mean. Yeah, and moving on. I mean, there's nothing else I could say about Spider-Man. PS4 trailer, other than it looks good. Really looks good. And then Shalania comes in and shows some Days Gone gameplay. It's okay. I'm probably not gonna be. I'm not. To be honest, I'm not a fan of horror games, so I'm probably not gonna get a game like that. I mean, I'll see how that game's gonna play in the future. Because it's open world, I wouldn't dismiss this just as a zombie apocalypse game. Maybe there might, because it's open world, there might be things where you're probably going to do some side quests over some kind of town and gather some resources or something like that. I wouldn't dismiss it as that. I just wouldn't. So, and I think that was about it. That was about it for Sony's conference. So the only complaint I kind of have is their conference was kind of short. I kind of wish they showed more, maybe, but that's about it. And I think I should give them a solid 9 out of 10. I think that was a really good conference. I was entertained throughout. I wasn't out of that live conference. Like, I wasn't out of that live concert into something, else. Like, I was watching it through and through, and I was just pleased and whatnot. And I hope they keep this going, and I was glad, and I was glad that they showed mostly PS4 exclusives in this conference, and PSVR exclusives, very few multiplats, and the multiplats that did show are understandable in terms of the deals, like Lego, like literally showing third-party deals, Skylanders because of Activision, uh, Lego because of Disney, like I think the license is owned by some other company, but through some kind of I don't know whatever kind of deal or something, because I'm gonna guess by the looks of it. My theory is Sony gave Marvel the creative. There was probably some kind of deal where Sony was like saying, okay, you want the creative rights to the Spider-Man movie, or yeah, creative control to Spider-Man movie. Okay, uh, you let us create a Spider-Man game, and then a Spider-Man PS4 game, and that might have been a too big of a deal, right? And it says, well, oh yeah, we'll let you do that, right? Disney will let them do that if it was probably too much of a deal for Disney and Marvel altogether. And so Disney said, okay, we're gonna let you make one exclusive to PS4 if you show a trailer to Lego Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and yeah, that's why what happened, and it was a really solid conference. Now, next up is my favorite company, Nintendo. Nintendo, they showed surprisingly a good presence. Zelda was nothing short but impressive. Showed a lot of gameplay. Maybe I kind of got bored through and through, but that's because it was a lot of gameplay footage. So I had to take a break and be like, you know what, I'm probably gonna be doing something else, like playing other video games and whatnot, but or just do with life stuff. But it was really entertaining through and through. Maybe the second day wasn't that good, but it wasn't for me. I think it wasn't for me. And they showed Sonic Moon gameplay footage, which is really good. Showed gameplay of games people will be interested in. And Tokyo Mirage Sessions, FE show more gameplay footage of that. I think the English version, I think it kind of got me more. I think I was already off for it, and I think the gameplay footage was pretty good. Yeah, I think the gameplay footage was pretty good. I'll check what they did with the E3 Treehouse. And I mean, yeah, something kind of happened. It wasn't anything serious, so I think I'll just I'll continue what I'm supposed to be doing, which is just checking Tokyo or checking day 2. So they show more gameplay footage of Zelda. I think different gameplay footage. Okay, DS games, but they're supposed to show gameplay footage, and that game is coming out like I don't know when, but yeah, they're showing games for this year, I think. So I mean, show DS gameplay, and they're trying to promote games and whatnot. Which I'm kind of not interested in, but at the same time, I'm like thinking, it's not for me. So what's the point of complaining? And they showed, I think, pretty good gameplay footage. So yeah, they showed Paper Mario. I'm kind of interested in. I think I was kind of, I think I was interested with the gameplay of it first. By playing a demo of I think the GameCube Paper Mario, and um, and that was about. I think that's about it. They show gameplay footage at the end with Zelda, which I already mentioned. I think they showed more gameplay footage for. I was already hooked in it. I think it was just English dub gameplay. Well, I'm saying English translated gameplay, and I think the gameplay footage got me hooked up even more because it was outside of the dungeons that I expected. So far I'm done with chapter 3 of FE. Um, so I'm in the intermission, sort of like the um kind of you could kind of call a chapter where you just do whatever before the next chapter. And the dungeons so far for me have just been okay, just a supernatural kind of place, and just seeing that gameplay. So not all dungeons are going to be supernatural exactly. Some are going to probably be related closer to reality, as in I don't know how to phrase it, some type of place in real life, like studio or something, and that's about it. And then you have Square last and probably least, Square Enix's presence in E3, and theirs was just boring. I don't know. I just wasn't hooked. I probably got the most bored out of that conference. I mean, I was kind of interested at the time with Star Ocean because it looked kind of interesting, and some other games like maybe Kingdom Hearts, maybe World of Final Fantasy, but they didn't really show enough gameplay to just make up for all that boring kind of whatever. And it was just, yeah, I think that might have been last place. I think for their comp or I don't know if I should put it in last place. Probably put it above EA's because at least they showed some gameplay of games I'm interested in. Um, because Battlefield 1 gameplay footage, it's like I don't know. I'm just not much interested in the World War One kind of because how the weaponry are kind of going to get more limited at the pass because, or at least the variety. Like you're not going to have assault rifles back then. You're not going to have machine pistols back then. So it's like because I like to use a variety of weaponry, and that kind of sucks for me. So yeah. And it doesn't, and the gameplay footage that they showed didn't seem like there was going to be more different types of weapons and whatnot, like different types of vehicles. Like they did show it, but just not as much as I expect. You know, like the biplanes are pretty much about the same, probably, from what I've seen, and only the tanks I think had a variety, and that was about it. Just Zeppelin fight, and if that's going to be what it is, I don't know if I'm going to get sick of it. I might, and I think that's about it. I probably skipped a PC gaming show, but that whatever. I mean, I think I think I'll probably just say, that probably was that was probably a boring as heck for me. Also, I probably skipped. I didn't watch it live fully, so I just skipped a lot. Um, so same thing with Nintendo. I skipped a lot of games I wasn't interested in, but at the same time, those games did have some good gameplay. So, like the 3DS games had some good gameplay. So I can't really, you know, like minus points from Nintendo's presence at E3. So okay, so pretty much the final verdict. So first place is Sony's. Second place is Nintendo's. Third place, I'm trying to. You know what? I'm actually going to count this down. So I'm trying to count how many conferences were there. There was Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, EA. Well, EA Play was near E3, so EA, Ubisoft, Square Enix, Bethesda, and PC. Right, so 8 conferences. Okay, so okay, first Sony, second Nintendo, Third is I think Ubisoft's. Fourth is Microsoft. Fifth is I'm trying to think. The PC gaming show because they did show some games I'm interested in. They showed Deus Ex gameplay. They showed a space gameplay or something. Yeah, that's some pretty interesting games. Some probably Portal like games, maybe if you know what I mean. Just or first person platform games. Then it's so then it I'm trying to think. So sixth is PC, seventh is Square Enix, and then eighth is EA. Um, if I miss any of the conferences, I'll check, but I think I covered all of them. One, two. Yeah, I think I covered all of them. So that's about it for my pretty much uh my review for E3. It was kind of lackluster for E3, but I think Sony kind of at least saved it, sort of. You know what I mean? The orchestra I really like from E3, from Sony's conference. That I really liked, and that kind of gave a place for E3 or live press conferences, if you know what I mean. So, you know, and I like for them to do that if they're going to do another E3 next year. So, I mean, that's it for this video review. I think I might have a channel update. I think pretty soon. Probably something. Uh, probably something like minor or major depends on how you view it. And as I always say, see me in the future.